And we talked about it with the O-line. Obviously, with the D-line, I'm going to head to there. Myles Garrett, that would be a great addition to that. But if we don't do that, we've looked at the Mike Greens from Marshall. We've looked at Shamar Stewart from A&M. Some of these guys that we may want to look at in the draft, we don't know who's going to be coming available in free agency, things like that. How much attention do you put here? Let's say we get Garrett. Let's say we get Garrett. Do you still put attention here in the draft and free agency, or are you set?
Yeah, no, I think this is another position group where we got to see what they're doing, because there's a lot of contract situations going on here, and the idea of, Jonathan Allen can be released and you get a cap savings. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then, but you got to think about, is the law firm of Allen and Payne and Newton, did they get it done this year? Has the law firm of Allen and Payne worn out its time in DC? Is it really necessary to keep running it back with this combination? That's the decision that they're going to have to make, because we've got to fix our defensive line to get better on our run defense next year. And I don't think necessarily just bringing in a Myles Garrett is necessarily going to do that. Right. But I do think we need to get somebody. And shout out goes to Ab Lowe. He said it from training camp on. There, when it was like, well, we were talking about the free agency moves and draft, and what are we still missing? He was like, we're missing an edge. He goes, we don't have anybody on the opposite side. And he wasn't a big fan of Dorrance Armstrong going into the season. And he was like, this defensive line, our edges are not good. And it became a problem area. Cleveland Farrell is just a guy. Dante Fowler had a huge season for us, but he can't play against the run. He is a one-dimensional type player. So it is very important. I think you're looking at a first-round pick, second-round pick, potentially, if we don't get through free agency, of addressing it here. And I'm leaning more towards a bigger guy. Someone who can play all three downs. I'm not looking at the Mike Greens that weigh 250. I'm looking at the Stewarts from A&M, or bigger guys who can be there and play against the run, but also add pass rush.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need a Vince Wilfork. You know what I mean? We need one of these big guys that just picks up two or three guys.
Hall of Famer, Sean.
Yes,
I need a Hall of Famer in the middle.
Yeah, but I'm talking about size, and namely, I'm looking at when they had the Patriots on Hard Knocks, and you see him come in the locker room with just overalls on, and you just see he is just super large. But that's what we need. We need space eaters. We need guys that are going to take up 1 and 2 linemen and just hold them in, so that our linebackers can then come up, or the other players can move up in there. I'm blanking on his name right now. Who is the guy that we had coming in towards the later part of the season?
Johnny Newton.
Newton. But who else?
Sheldon Day and Carl Davis.
Yes, those guys that were able to come in once we started going 5-man line, and you started having those guys kind of push the middle of that pile, and once we started making those adjustments, it worked. Well, let's keep going with that. Let's get, and we're not going to get an Aaron Donald, but let's get somebody like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter for the Eagles, that those two guys are doing essentially what we thought Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen are going to do. Wreak havoc and let the outside go. And to your point about that, I was shocked last year when we moved on from Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And I think it might be that time not to, and this is separating from the whole Ron Rivera thing. I think it's just not working. And I think you have to start to pull away some of what was there, and it's just, we've had opportunities to see what you can do. And shout out to Jonathan Allen coming back from injury and getting in there and contributing a little in the championship, but nothing that none of these guys were able to do was able to stop that run. That was our big problem, and that's what they're supposed to be doing there, shutting down that run game, or at least slowing it down. So that didn't happen. So I agree. I think we gotta look here, especially inside, to see what we can do to create more issues to maybe free up those linebackers a little bit.
Right. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.